Hello everyone, welcome back for another Period Drama Monday. The period drama I would like to talk to you about today is different than most of the period dramas that I talk about. This was an extremely haunting and terrifying period drama, and that is the new adaptation of And Then There Were None, the novel written by Agatha Christie in the early 1900s. So, And Then There Were None, in case you don't know what it is about a group of 10 people who are invited by a person who they have never met to an island for a free weekend away. And they're given a letter from UN Owen, who they have never met, and saying, would you like a free weekend away? And I will arrange for transportation to the island, and you can all have this weekend together with dinner parties. And so these 10 people accept. And so I'd like to tell you about those 10 people as a way of telling more about the plot. This will be spoiler free though, so have no fear. The first two guests are Ethel and Thomas Rogers, but they aren't so much guests as employees. He is the butler and she is a maid, and they kind of run the dinner parties and make sure everything's running smoothly, but they have never met their employer. Then another guest making up the 10 people is Emily Brent. Emily Brent is a lady of leisure, and she has something that happened in her past that she has been in denial about it haunting her. But she can be very cold and merciless, and so eventually you find out more about her character, and as the story unfolds you find out more about these people. And then Anthony Marston is a careless and reckless young man who thinks he's going to live forever, and he drives very recklessly in his car and just doesn't really care and is pompous and just really frankly despicable. And Douglas Booth, who played Anthony Marston, did a fabulous job making everyone hate him. So he was really good at his role. And then General MacArthur is another one of the guests, and he comes and you are not really sure. He's good at putting on a front, so you're not quite sure what it is about him. The sixth member of the group is Vera Claythorne, and very shortly after she gets there you find out that a little boy she was watching died while she was watching him, and so you're not sure exactly what happened, but you know that he ended up drowning and she tried to run to save him and she couldn't get to him. The seventh guest making up the 10 is Judge Wargrave, and he is a fairly kind old gentlemanly type man, and he in his old age needs to use a cane and ends up being helped up the stairs a couple times while he's walking to dinner. Out of the group, he's the one that shows the least animosity, the one that's the easiest to get along with. So that's an interesting character to have in there, because the rest of them are really not really getting along very well. And then the next guest is Philip Lombard, played by Aidan Turner, who plays Poldark, and he is so handsome, and I just love his British accent. He is Irish, but he does, of course, I think he does a fabulous British accent. Philip Lombard, when you find out his crime, he is very unashamed about it. He's just not really sorry, and he doesn't have any regrets really about it. And then the ninth guest is Dr. George Armstrong, and he is a man who is very quickly coming undone and unraveled. He, isn't really able even to keep his act up together from the beginning. So he is kind of an annoying character the whole time, just because he's really falling apart, and while the other people are trying to keep their act together, he's just really losing it. And then the last character in this story is William Blore, also called Bill, and he is a police officer. So these are the 10 people that make up the group that is at this house. And shortly after the 10 people get there, after dinner, a record comes on, and a voice on the record starts listing off all their names and murders that each one of them have committed. This person that they've never met, they don't know who it is, starts talking about all these murders that each of them have committed, and specifically names each person and gives the specific name of the person that they are claiming that they murdered. So then, shortly after that, there is a poem called The 10 Little Indians, which is obviously not very politically correct nowadays, but anyhow, there is that poem. And then in the dining room, there on the table are 10 little figurines. And the first person gets murdered, which I won't tell you anybody who is killed. I don't want to spoil it. So the first person is murdered, and then you see one of the figurines is off the table, and the second one, and the second figurine is off the table. And this was incredibly creepy. It was almost a horror movie because they're just trapped in this house. They're on this island that's miles and miles of, it would be swimming, crazy, treacherous swimming to get away, and they're being hunted down slowly but surely. The music really adds to it, and I just can't tell you how amazing the acting was in this. The actors really just studied their role and took it to be their own, and did such a fabulous job. So as the number of people are dropping, there's less options for who the murderer is, and so you're really trying to figure out who it is, and they're all, of course, scared to go to their beds by themselves at night, and it's just so terrifying. And it's also really creepy that after each person is killed, the same person who kills them takes the time to go into the dining room and pull off the figure. It's like obviously a game and very amusing to them. But I will say it feels different than horror because there does seem to be a genuine belief in morals and that people should be upstanding citizens and that this is justice. Like the person who's killing everyone is doing it to have justice. So obviously we know that's wrong and that's not justice, that's vigilantism. But it is interesting to think they think they're making society better by getting the world rid of these people who have committed these different murders that they claim they have. Altogether, a very fabulous film, and I would watch it not alone and during the day, ideally, if you can, because it was really creepy. But like I said, it was very good, and so this is usually totally not the type of thing I watch, but I just could not stop watching it because the acting was incredible. Another really special element about this miniseries is the color schemes that the costuming and set designers did. I love looking at color schemes in films and miniseries, and it's very understated. Lots of grays, browns, blacks, and charcoal type tones. And in the very beginning, you hear about one of the characters, the murder that they're accused of, and the whole time you're sort of guessing, were they really guilty? Did they do that? And then in the ending, very close to one of the ending scenes, it becomes apparent. And in that scene, that character is wearing bright, bright red when it becomes apparent that it was cold-blooded murder that they did. I just really appreciated all the time and thought that went into the sets and the costuming. So, like I said, all the understated colors, except for the red at the one of the very ending scenes, but then of course whenever someone dies, the red blood just shows up so brightly, and it's just all the more horrific. So if you like Agatha Christie, I would definitely watch this. I think lots of Agatha Christie fans were happy with this. So I will see you guys for another video soon, and I hope you have a lovely day.